Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the Monday Night Raw, December 12th Raw preview. Honestly, in my mind, I shit pretty big on last week's edition of Monday Night Raw. I can honestly sit here and tell you that I honestly don't remember much of anything that happened on Raw last week other than New Day escaping with their tag team championships, which builds up to the main event of Monday Night Raw this week, which is going to be the New Day having a triple threat against the Club and Cesaro and Sheamus. Honestly, in my mind, everybody knows that the New Day is either going to cheat to win this match or they're going to escape with some sort of a count-out disqualification victory. We're coming up on Battleground, and there is no clear-cut number one contender. With the titles being on the line, we all know that Demolition is their record is going to be beat. It's not going. They're not going to lose this match. They have to win this match. So something out of this has to set up Battleground. Either this being just a straight up rematch with all three teams going at it in there, or basically somehow one of these teams being cheated out of a victory, setting up a rematch. When it comes down to it, the Club had their shot last week. Cesaro and Sheamus haven't had a shot in a few weeks. If I was going to book a one-on-one match at Battleground, I'm guessing that Cesaro and Sheamus would somehow come out of this being the number one contenders. But how do you become the number one contenders by losing a match other than New Day pinning Guns and Gallows, sort of making Cesaro and Sheamus look like that they're not, losing anything in this? When it comes down to it, as a main event, this is not going to be good. The rest of Monday Night Raw is going to be filled out by Sasha Banks and Charlotte setting up their Iron Woman match. I don't know how you basically do this by having them not touch each other. I'm guessing that they're going to be doing more build-up with Ric Flair and Charlotte. Maybe, Ric Flair being there endorsing Sasha Banks. Honestly, in my mind, Ric Flair returning to WWE in order to build up this match doesn't really do anything for me at all. Ric Flair, if he was the manager of some sort of a faction or manager of some sort of a group, that makes sense to me. But, Ric Flair turning on his daughter and endorsing Sasha Banks to build up an Iron Woman match at Battleground doesn't really do anything for me at all. We were being tempted with this is the end of Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens' friendship. Last week, it was Kevin Owens who cost Chris Jericho a victory, and not only a victory, but a United States Championship win against Roman Reigns. That being, this is just a one too many wrenches in the friendship between Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. This is being built up as the end-all, be-all of the best friends group. Honestly, they have to find some way to sort of save this and keep these guys together. Maybe, there is no way for Chris Jericho to return the favor and cost Kevin Owens, because there's no way in the world that Roman Reigns will be beating Kevin Owens for the championship. Maybe someday Roman Reigns becomes champion again. Maybe he wins the Rumble and wins WrestleMania, and they replay WrestleMania 32 at WrestleMania 33. But there's no way that he's going to be getting a new championship reign, and they're going to have it happen at Roadblock, end of the line. It's pretty safe to say that maybe Roman Reigns wins the match, but there's no way that he is walking out with the championship come Sunday. So we'll see what goes on from there. But they have to repair this. If anything, this is a friendship that's going to be split up at the Royal Rumble by one being forced to eliminate the other one. The only wrench in that plan is that Kevin Owens is the champion, and seeing how the Royal Rumble spot sees, what championship you want to go after. Maybe Kevin Owens isn't even in the Rumble unless they have him lose his championship match and somehow is granted a spot in the Rumble and basically does double duty on the show, which I don't think anyone has ever done before. But Hell, I mean, Edge was eliminated from an Elimination Chamber match and then came out later on the same pay-per-view and entered himself into the next Elimination Chamber match that was on the show. So anything can happen in WWE if the writers think that's what they're going to do. Emelina is finally making her debut. I don't know, for somebody who was hot before, they've been building up this makeover that has honestly, in my mind, taken well over a month, maybe even 2 months of vignettes on Monday Night Raw. I don't know what they were really making over. This was a chick that was hot before, that it's almost like the writing staff finally, clicked the follow button on Emma's Twitter or Instagram feed and was able to see the pictures that this chick's been posting up and saying, we gotta see if we can find some way to build off of this. She's somebody who's always had a whole lot of wrestling talent, somebody that was trained by Lance Storm, then went through developmental, and only got stronger from there. She had a really good gimmick when she was sort of wearing the sunglasses, and I think she was wearing a leather jacket down to the ring. She really looked like a badass, and I'm hoping that maybe she gets teamed up with Dana Brooke again. But I don't know if she's a heel, which I think the hot chick always has to be. I'm guessing that means Sasha Banks is actually going to win the championship, or keep the championship, winning at Battleground. Or, fuck, I've messed it up calling it Battleground twice. It's Roadblock. Both of the pay-per-views suck, no matter when they're going to be. But it is what it is. We're going to have to see how we have a payoff between Enzo and Rusev. The rumor was that this whole angle was to build up Big Cass versus Rusev anyways. So maybe after the ass whooping that Enzo took last week, maybe they're going to say that he is unable to attend Monday Night Raw, maybe coming down with concussion from being banged over the head with the vase in the hotel room last week. Maybe that makes Big Cass step up, and then we have Enzo returning at the pay-per-view, costing Rusev the match. But I don't know if WWE wants to be messing around with a fake concussion angle with Monday Night Raw. So we'll have to see. The big build-up for Sami Zayn is that he's been pressuring Mick Foley to get a championship shot. I apologize. The game's about to start, so I was paying attention to that at the same time I was talking to you guys. But Sami Zayn has been pressuring Mick Foley for a match against Braun Strowman. Mick Foley's been trying to save Sami Zayn, basically saying that Braun Strowman is a monster and he can't go out there and get this done. I think Sami has shown Mick Foley that he is more than capable of knowing what he is asking for. If Mick Foley's not going to give Sami Zayn this match, you might as well just ask him to lose weight and enter himself into the Cruiserweight 205 show and just not even have him on Monday Night Raw. Seeing how Sami Zayn looks like he's going to be the ultimate underdog of Monday Night Raw, they have to give him this match. But I think that honestly he's going to lose, and the word on the street is that Braun Strowman will be sacrificed in the hand of the Big Show to set up the Shaquille O'Neal versus Big Show match at WrestleMania 33. That is your 5-point preview for Monday Night Raw on the Road to Roadblock, which will be coming up on Sunday. Let me know what you guys think about it, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Emelina debut as well as the New Day match in just a minute. The main event of the big Monday Night Raw on the Go Home show, getting us into Roadblock 2016 into the line, is going to be a triple threat match that puts the New Day going up against the Club and Cesaro and Sheamus. Honestly, in my mind, anything right now involving the New Day honestly is boring filler to me. I guess it is well obvious to anyone in attendance, anyone watching WWE at this point, that the New Day is being handed the WWE Tag Team longest reign in WWE history, beating Demolition. This is going to be happening sooner than later. I honestly don't know how many days Demolition has. I honestly don't know how many days that Big E, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston have. But the only thing I want for Christmas is this title reign to end. I honestly can see the writing on the wall. New Day is going to surpass Demolition's record. That it is well obvious by looking at Bill Eadie that Demolition is not walking through that door. Demolition is not going to be coming into WWE and costing New Day the tag team championships, setting up New Day versus Demolition at WrestleMania 33. That is not something that's going to be happening. So just we know that New Day is going to take this title reign. But the only thing I want for Christmas this year is that the day that they break that reign, I want them to lose the championship the very next day. That is the only thing that I can really hope for. I can tell you honestly that the two tag teams that they're going to be facing, the Club as well as Cesaro and Sheamus, are two teams that I thought the world of coming into their debut in WWE. I thought that honestly, when they put together Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson and had them come to WWE as a part of the New Japan invasion that happened earlier this year, which right after the Tokyo Dome show, when it was announced that AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Guns and Gallows would be coming. I thought this was going to be huge for the tag team division as well as Monday Night Raw. I thought that the Bullet Club coming was going to take over WWE by storm. I will tell you that honestly, AJ Styles has knocked it out of the park, and AJ Styles really has delivered on a level that I didn't think he was going to be able to deliver on. I think if anybody saw, when AJ debuted at the Royal Rumble, it got a bigger response than I thought it was going to get. I knew that people knew who AJ Styles was. I knew that people were fans of his from TNA, but I thought that honestly that New Japan was a fringe market, and that not everyone was going to know who AJ Styles was. But he came in, he debuted, it was big, but then with that first sort of storyline that they ran with him and AJ Styles and Chris Jericho teaming together, Y2AJ, that the writing was on the wall, especially with him losing at WrestleMania. He was not going to be the main. Why is The Rock on NBC? I wish I had the volume on. Wow, we're talking about The Rock right now in a WWE video. But I got to get back on track here. I thought that honestly he wasn't going to be the main event guy. Now here we are in December. He hasn't even been in WWE yet for a full year, and he's been having the WWE Championship since Backlash, which was shortly after the brand split back in July. So let's say like September. Here he's been on like a 4 or 5 month reign as champion, and he's been blown out of the park. He just beat Dean Ambrose at TLC. But Guns and Gallows is the team that honestly seemed like they had 4, maybe even 5 chances at the New Day's tag team title reign, and they couldn't get the job done. I love Guns and Gallows, but I bet you honestly, from being a fan of Talking Shop, if you were to ask them what they think about their reign in WWE, I honestly bet you that it's for the Fast and Furious movie, but they wouldn't give a shit. They're getting checks. They're cashing checks. They're on the road. They're doing what they want to do. They're on the Monday Night Raw. They're in WWE. They're able to be home and see their kids. They're be able to not be that Tokyo flight away from being where with the people that they want to be with. And they're wrestling on a main stage. And Gallows being able to return back to WWE and rewrite Festus and all that other jazz. Carl Anderson, a guy that has a lot of talent, but had to leave to be able to find success, and blew it up in New Japan for, I believe he was there for 8 years, which is a long time to be wrestling over there. But when it comes down to it, just weren't able to get it done here. Hopefully, when they take the titles off of New Day, it will make New Day fresh again, if not split them up. I know that they sell a lot of merchandise. I know that they still have a following behind them. Xavier Woods will always have that because of the Up, Up, Down, Down channel. I was a fan of Big E before, during, and I will be a fan after. I can honestly say that Kofi Kingston, in a weird way, I've started to like Kofi it's not like that I found respect for him, but I never really understood who Kofi Kingston was before. But with him being able to show who Kofi Kingston is, I don't know what Kofi's real name is, but being able to show that side of him in the character of New Day, I've liked him a lot more. Cesaro and Sheamus, I know that they went through the best of 7. They had the time, the draw. The match was stopped, and Foley put them together and said that they would be going after the tag titles. They did not win those tag titles in their first or on their Monday Night Raw title chance. But I honestly thought that might be the end of them. They did team in the Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown tag match, which hopefully, thought that they were going to stay together, but they did become the ultimate survivors in that, sort of showing life to them as a tag team on Monday Night Raw. Honestly, them not holding the titles to me is a setback for them, and it sort of is a waste of what they're doing. I mean, you look at Cesaro as a guy that's going to have some light shine down him because of the fact that they are signing Cassius Ohno, Chris Hero from the Independents and bringing him back in, whether that's him coming to the main roster or him coming and just wrestling for NXT. People will always want to see the Kings of Wrestling reunite in some way. Not, there's sort of a knock to Cesaro and Sheamus, because this is the team that if they get something behind them and means something in the tag division, could be an awesome fucking tag team. But, Sheamus, a guy who's been a former world champion, as well as a former WWE champion, as well as holding the Intercontinental Championship, anything other than that is going to be a setback to him. But, this is going to be, honestly, a match that ends in shenanigans. It's going to be probably some sort of a heel victory for the New Day, who sort of this shades of gray in their last few matches on Monday Night Raw, that they've tried to show that they're caring about this tag team title reign and put them in some big matches the last few weeks. But I honestly think that we're going to be getting some sort of a rematch at Battleground. So this match, honestly, is going to get thrown out and just not really matter in the long run, which is a lot of what Monday Night Raw is. So it is what it is. We'll see what this comes down to it, but I'm honestly looking for New Day to win via cheating, or just the match get thrown out due to just everybody beating the shit out of each other and building up Battleground. With this edition of Monday Night Raw, we're also going to be getting the debut of Emmalina. Finally, the makeover is complete. WWE is cashing in on how hot Emma is, finally. Emma is a great wrestler that's been involved in WWE for a countless number of years. She's shined through developmental, through her matches, with Paige for the NXT Women's Championship on one of the first ever NXT specials. No, that's not right, because that was a normal NXT show. But, fuck it. They had a really good match a long time ago that showed off how great Emma was. Emma was brought up to the main roster. She was made the boyfriend of Santino. Santino went away with a neck injury, and then Emma just faded away into obscurity because of the fact that Monday Night Raw had her as a character that was going to be teamed up with Santino for probably a long period of time, and just came up with nothing to do for her. Emma, a lot like Tyson Kidd, dropped back down to developmental, going to wrestle for NXT again, reestablished herself as not only as a hot chick, but a real badass. Emma is one of the nicest wrestlers that I've ever met, but honestly, by looking at her and her showing off her talents as a wrestler, she really has it. And I think that, honestly, she gets put on this back burner a little bit because, NXT's, Divas Revolution that we went through, she was somebody who was already on the main roster and wasn't a part of the Four Horsewomen. It was sort of being Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. Paige is also in that. That basically she had already cracked the main roster, and even though she was looked at as one of the main best wrestlers on the main roster, she wasn't one of those 4 girls, so she sort of got set back. Emelina is something that honestly doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Why you would want to change her name to something stupid when just Emma already was getting it done. I know that, that they're just basically cashing in on how hot she is in her Instagram pictures. I'm guessing that this character has to be a heel with Emelina. Honestly, in my mind, I would love it if she was sort of partnered back up with Dana Brooke, because of the fact that Dana Brooke is a badass as well. I liked them as a team in NXT. When Dana Brooke went down with her injury around the time that she lost to Oksana, or Asuka in her debut match, sort of Emma picked up the ball, and Emma was wrestling the matches, but Dana Brooke sort of had to take the role as manager. I don't remember what the injury was to Dana Brooke, if it was a concussion or maybe some neck thing or something like that, but Dana Brooke hit the main roster. She hit the main roster running. Was looked at as she was going to be one of the major stars in the Divas division, but now it sort of looks like she's taking that lesser of a role. Dana Brooke hidden behind Emma would be a good role for her to be in. It could go either way. I mean, Lena could come in as a babyface that's just really hot. They can wrestle, but they already have Bayley in that role as the girl next door who's going to go out there and wrestle and try her best. She's not going to win all the time, but is always going to be a fan favorite. To me, I know that you already have Charlotte. But Emelina could come in as a major killer heel that honestly is just going to shut it down and just put people in their place, sort of make people know how hot she is and that she's better than everybody else. Either way, I think this is going to be a good character. I don't really know where this goes in the long run. Maybe Emelina could be the next challenger for Sasha Banks if Sasha Banks walks out of Battleground Roadblock with the Women's Championship after the Iron Woman match. We'll have to see, but also this could be something that WWE pushes to high heaven with vignettes, and then once that person has their roster debut, sort of just forgets what to do with them after 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, look what they've done with Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas came out wearing a singlet, carrying a sign, beating up jobbers in under a minute, and within a couple of number of weeks, beat up his buddy from the Social Outcasts and Curtis Axel, and nothing since then. So we'll see what there is for Emelina. The big debut is tomorrow, and we'll see what goes on from there.